Alright everybody, today we're going to learn how to build a greenhouse. It's a great place to grow things, it's a great place to keep the environment out, these geese out. You can grow tons of tomatoes, you can grow tons of mint. You can have a great time in a greenhouse, and you can fit all of the materials right in the back of your car. Alright, so greenhouses are great and all, but what's the farm engineer going to add to this? What's so special about my greenhouse? Like any good farm engineer design, it can be completed in a single day. It uses low-cost materials that are strong enough to do the job. And finally, it uses materials that you can easily buy at your local Lowe's, Home Depot, or major hardware supplier. I've seen other designs that use EMT tubing. That is about 3 times heavier, it's shorter, and it's not designed to be outside at all, so you end up getting terrible rust. And the couplings on EMT tubes use set screws, which are absolutely terrible. Other designs will run you over $1,500 for a similar square footage and will require an awkward freight delivery. Alright everybody, let's get started. We're going to need to build staples, we're going to need to build hoops, we're going to pound those staples into the ground and make a nice rail along the bottom of the greenhouse, and then build those hoops right up, and finally lay down our purlins. Let's start by building the staples. Take a 3/8 inch piece of rebar and place it into a bench vise. Bend the staple over. Use your weight if you need to. By the end, both prongs of the staple should be parallel. You'll need about 8 of these. Alright. Lay the rails along both edges of the greenhouse. Then take your staple and a good sledgehammer and drive the staples down. This will fasten the edge rails of your greenhouse down to the ground. If your soil has enough clay, the staples will hold the rails in place very well. Place a T-junction coupler at 10-foot intervals at your greenhouse. This 10 feet corresponds to the length of one of the rails, so you can use the joint of the rails as a reference. Now it's time to start bending some pipe. Take the large edge of your pipe, which is opposite of the swaged edge, just past the hook inside of the pipe bender. Pull the pipe down until the pipe just kisses the end of the pipe bending tool. Slide in by 6 inches, and then repeat. Continue this until you've gone through the entire pipe. Every time you slide in 6 inches, just bend it down just enough to kiss the edge of the pipe bender. It'll become difficult to bend the pipe once you've got it through most of the way, so you're going to have to use a cheater bar. Place the cheater bar onto the pipe as shown on the swaged end, and then bend as normal. Alright. Once you are done, remove your cheater bar and your finished product. You will need 3 of these pieces for each hoop. Slide the swaged edge into the non-swaged edge, and then drill down with a 1/8 inch drill bit. Drill at a medium speed, and make sure to insert and de-insert over and over again to remove burrs. Okay. The burrs will get in the way of your rivet. Shut on it. Place the rivet into the 1/8 inch hole so that the collar is flush with the pipe edge. Slide your rivet tool over top of the rivet and then pull the handle to engage the rivet. Rivet acts a lot like a screw. But instead of screwing into the material and cutting into the material, it actually holds both edges of the material flush. Repeat this 4 times for each joint. Once you have the full hoops done, which are made of 3 of the pieces that we bent before, with 4 drill holes and rivets per joint, you're going to take your hoops out to the construction site. Once you have your T-junctions in place, you simply have to slide the edge of the hoop into the T-junction and then fasten down with a wrench. Let's do a close-up of this process. First, you drag your hoop, which is 3 pieces of bent rail coupled with rivets, out to the site. Roughly place one edge, as seen on the right, where the T-junction is. Then maneuver the other end, which corresponds to the left side, over to the other T-junction. Maneuver the edge into the T-junction collar, and then tighten with your wrench while holding in place. A ratcheting wrench makes this job significantly easier. As the collar tightens down, it will align the rail. Now move over to the other side. Don't worry, the rail should stay in place, held by that first collar. Even if you don't have a friend to hold the pipe rail for you, the pipe rail collar will function as your friend for now. You're going to need to compress the hoop, which takes a considerable amount of strength. So get a good even footing. If the collars are too tight together, use your wrench to lever them apart. Place the end of the hoop into the collar like so. Once it drops into place, tighten with your wrench. Again, a ratcheting wrench makes the task far easier. And that is how you complete one hoop of the greenhouse. As you can see, it does not take many hoops to make a very large greenhouse. The one that you see here is 20 feet wide by 40 feet deep and can be extended indefinitely. Each section requires 3 rails to be used as a hoop and 2 rails to be used as the outer rails, and then 2 more rails to be used as purlins. The purlins are the horizontal structural member that are raised above the ground. They are placed parallel to the ground rails, but elevated. Note that after I filmed this, I found a structural weakness with having the purlins so high up. So in the future, the purlin should only be about 4 feet off the ground. This allows water to drain off during heavy rainstorms. You'll need your purlin brackets, which can be placed atop the hoop. Then slide the pipe into the purlin bracket. Move to the next hoop to place the next purlin bracket. Lift the rail from the previous hoop and then shimmy it into the next bracket. Notice that this assembly is not constrained yet. It is very fragile, so be very careful. The pipe can fall. With a ratcheting wrench, tighten the purlin brackets to constrain the rail. You'll have to repeat this for both ends of the purlin. Once the purlin is fully constrained, the two hoops should be fastened together. You can continue attaching the purlins one edge at a time. The first purlin is by far the most difficult one to put in place. After that, the swaged ends of the purlin can be placed into the unswaged edge of the next purlin section. This helps hold the purlin in place as you continue. All sections of the greenhouse, whether they're hoops, purlins, or ground rails, will need to have a rivet for every swaged junction. Every time a swaged end goes into a non-swaged end, you'll need to drill at least one hole and then place one rivet. This ensures that the rails are fixed together and will not pull apart. After laying out the ground rails, which are on either side of the greenhouse, attaching the hoops with T-junctions, and then fastening the hoops together with the purlins, and then riveting all swaged and non-swaged junctions, you will have a completed hoop house. The hoop house is a basic support for plastic and shade cloths, as well as environmental barriers. It is an excellent tool for extending your season well into winter, and sometimes all year round. Even in the hottest parts of summer, when the sun will burn your crops away, shade cloths can be used to protect them. I hope you enjoyed this video, and as again, I will see you all later. Keep on growing.